Hey guys, Tess here from www.itsyourtherapy.com. Welcome if you haven't already visited my channel before. Hopefully you will enjoy the content of these videos. I make mental health videos 2 times per week, every Tuesday and Thursday, and I do my best to upload them before midnight. So this video is strictly about the power of your vocabulary. So how we talk to ourselves, our self-talk, is very prominent in the modality CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. It has been empirically validated time and time again that the way that we talk to ourselves, our thoughts, the questions that we ask ourselves and the answers that we have for those questions are our thoughts, and therefore the conversation that we're having all day. And our thoughts are directly linked to our feelings. So the emotions that we experience are because of our thoughts. And to take it a step further, which CBT doesn't necessarily do, is that our thoughts are also a result of our belief system, which is another video. And I will link the video down below for you to check that one out about belief systems. Regarding vocabulary, whether you use really abrasive words, very strong words, very meek words, or negative words, or positive words, your words do matter. It has been even acknowledged several times in even biblical terms, and just, I'm sure that you've noticed for yourself, when you talk to yourself negatively, you feel negative. When you talk to yourself positively, you feel more positive, upbeat, happy. Feelings are more prominent. So these are some suggestions and some switches that you can make in your vocabulary words that seem small, but really make such a difference in how you feel and how you relate to yourself in the world. So the first one is should. I love how Tony Robbins talks about shoulding on yourself, because it's so true. Shoulding on yourself is like shitting on yourself. It's so bad. Think of all the shoulds and musts and have tos that you have for yourself, the oughts and the shelts nots. When you think about those things, imagine what happens in your body. And even on a chemical level, right? So even chemically, our body can break down from the negativity that we feed ourselves through the words that we're speaking. And if we're taking just a simple look at it, when you say should, of course, you feel guilt, or, I should go meet my friend instead of stay home and study, or I should study instead of meet my friend, or all these limitations and obligations that we put on ourselves. I should, talk to my boyfriend about this, even though I don't want to. And deep down, we dishonor ourselves and we become in disharmony because we don't honor what our true wants are. Moving on from that is the word hard. It's only hard if we are thinking that it's hard. Is it unfamiliar? Possibly. Is it going to be a challenge? Absolutely. Is it going to take more effort and work on our part? Most likely. So instead of saying hard, my suggestion is that you say to yourself, it's going to be new, or it's going to be an opportunity for me to learn something. It kind of goes along the lines of, if you're struggling, instead of saying that you're struggling, say, I'm challenged by. One of my clients actually inspired me with that, because we often go around in a group setting and I ask, what are you struggling with and how can we help? People say the struggle is real. Sure, if you're using it in that context with that connotation, it's funny, it's light, it's mature, you can build from that. But if you say, I'm struggling, and you really feel kind of downhearted, and you notice your posture change when you talk to yourself in this way, then I highly suggest using I'm challenged by. And even saying that, just noticing that your shoulders are pulled back, and it's more of a way to gain confidence because you're being challenged. You can do it and you're gonna pursue it, versus you're struggling with something and you just can't make it, and it's gonna be hard to push through, and it feels like it's controlling you instead of you're controlling it. So definitely challenged by. And the next thing is, instead of saying that you're going to try, I'm sure you've heard this before, that there is no try, only do. So when you say I will try, there's no real commitment there. So what I suggest you say instead of try is I am doing. So something that is keeping you in the moment, in the now, not I will do it, not I won't do it, not I have done it, but something that is very present is I am doing. So for example, I'm going to try to work out today. Well, by default, you're going to take the easy road out because that's just the law of inertia, right? So instead of saying try, I am working out. That is the thing that you're doing in the present, right now, even if it's a couple things. And I get it, if you're in the middle of something, that's different. But when the time comes, if you're saying that to yourself all day, I am working out, your brain is going to register that you are doing that. So that's what you do. It's who you are. You're working out. And when something becomes even part of your identity and it's something that you do, then you can't not do it. So that is my suggestion for that word in particular. The next word is I can't. So we all know that this is a negative word, just like we all know we should eat our vegetables and fruits and eat less processed foods, but we use the word can't all the time. So really pay attention and gain awareness of these words that you're using. If you hear yourself say I can't, instead say I can. Instead of I can't do it, I'm not yet doing it. So it doesn't feel like you are incapable. Instead, it's just you are capable, but the timing just might not be right now. So it's okay to say, I am not yet doing it. Or you can implement the I am doing it. So therefore, it's in the present and you are doing it. And sometimes if it's I can't, we often just say I can't do it when you really don't want to do something. So if it's something that you truly don't want to do, acknowledge that, honor that, so that you can be in harmony with yourself and say, I won't do that. And that is okay to use I won't do it when you know deep down it's not really something you want to do. Because we all know that we do things that we don't want to do, whether it's to please people, out of our fear of rejection, or out of our fear of missing out. We have lots of motivations for things that we do that are not necessarily in alignment with who we are and what we truly want out of life, and they're not propelling us towards the life that we want or the person that we want to be. So we can use I won't in those circumstances. The next is but. But. Using but is always an excuse, a cop-out. Think about all the times you use but, and I promise you, any of these words that you start using and you start to gain awareness of how many times you actually use these words, and once you start changing and replacing the vocabulary that you're using, you'll start to see a whole nother mindset and realize how negative your old mindset really was and how your new mindset can just change your life. So for but, say and, instead of I would clean the house this weekend, but I have a ton of studying to do. Say, I will clean the house this weekend and I will study. Then you give your brain a chance to work out solutions in your mind and how you're going to be able to do it all, because you can do it all. And it doesn't mean that you'll do it all perfectly, but you can make your life work. And that in itself is so empowering. So I really encourage you to use and instead of but. The next thing is unsure. So are we unsure of some things sometimes? Absolutely, who isn't? We're all ignorant in some areas. There are times that we just don't know, and we have to, or we don't have to do anything, but it's very beneficial to ask for help and to ask for guidance and to seek clarity. But sometimes we are unsure, always, which is an oxymoron. So if you're always unsure, basically, and it's not just sometimes, and you're finding yourself just really knowing deep down that you could be sure about something, or maybe you've been sure about something in the past, but now you just feel unsure about everything, or things that you used to be sure about, you're unsure about now. For example, I'm just not sure that I can make this video channel work with my busy schedule between my relationships and, other endeavors and hobbies and, my other goals and other areas of my life, whether it be physical, mental, career-wise, etc. And instead of thinking that you're unsure and feeling insecure, use I am sure. If you say I am sure and it doesn't resonate with you right away, that's okay. Because sometimes it takes a while to build yourself up, because you need to give yourself a chance. I am sure, and then you go into, the thing that you said you were going to do. For example, I'm unsure that I can finish all this paperwork on time. I don't know if I can do that. And instead of ruminating on that, think about one thing that you're unsure about, and then you just ruminate on that. You're going to feel even more insecure, doubt yourself even more, and you probably won't do the thing like finishing the paperwork on time because of that doubt and insecurity and unsurety that you have. Or you can say, I'm sure that I can get this all done, and allow your brain the opportunity again to look for the solution, because the solution is always there. It really is always available, but we need to give our brains the chance to find the solution and trust our brains. If you don't trust yourself, at least trust your brain. Your brain will look for the solution. That's what the studies show. The next word is will. So I will do this or I will do that. Obviously, not everything can be in the present and be right now, but if you find yourself saying I will do this in the future, if it's something that you can do right now, like build a routine, build a habit, especially something that needs to be practiced, like I will meditate, or I will exercise, or I will take a shower. All those things you need to do daily. So instead of saying I will, that is another chance to say I am doing this. This is something that is ingrained in my schedule. I am doing this. So again, will is not completely negative, like should. Never say should. Should is never a word that you should use ever. But you don't need it. Get rid of but completely. Will do something, sometimes it's appropriate, but usually we're using it because we're procrastinating. So be honest with yourself, and if you can say I am, realistically, because it really needs to be a daily habit, then allow yourself the chance, whether you think you can do it or not today. If you know logically that it needs to be a habit for today, use I am doing. I am. The next suggestion I have is what's wrong? This is a question we ask ourselves. What's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? What's wrong with, these people who just can't seem to see things the way that I see them? What's wrong with this company that doesn't give me what I ask them for or do things right? Or what is wrong with my partner? He never does the dishes, or she never cleans up her clothes. Always looking for what's wrong is going to lead you down that negative path, obviously, but we aren't aware that we are constantly looking at what's wrong, because that is the primitive brain. That is the way that our ancestors survived, and it's the older portion of our brain compared to the more new prefrontal cortex that sees the logic in things and thinks completely differently. So we need to look for what's wrong. We need to know what's dangerous. We need to know what's not right so that it can warn us and keep us safe. Because safety, if you've ever looked at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, safety is at the very bottom as the very first and foundational need that we have. If you don't feel safe, how can you think about making $1 million? If you don't feel safe, how can you think about making your relationship awesome? How can you think about becoming the best self you can be if you don't feel safe? So instead of that, what's right? That's what we need to be asking ourselves. What is right with the world? What is right with me? What can I do right? What are these people doing right? What in my environment is going right? Because that's always available. There's always something that is going right. We just need to take the time and have the practice of finding what's right. And it really does challenge your brain, and it will take time to really train your brain to look for what's right. And at the beginning, like anything new that you're starting, it's going to take more effort. It's going to be a challenge. You're going to have to put in more effort at the beginning to really build the momentum and then maintain that level of looking for the positivity. And life is up and down, so this is going to be a practice daily to ask yourself and remind yourself to look for what is right. I have two more. The next thing is balance. So instead of saying balance, because let's be frank and real, life is not balanced. It's very out of balance. Sometimes we're hyper focused on our career because we have an exam or a promotion coming up, or we want to impress our boss, or we want to prove ourselves that we can do something. So we hyper focus on an area of our life, or maybe it's fitness. You have a fitness goal, and so you're hyper focused on that. It's taking a lot of your energy. Maybe you're a mom, or you just had a newborn, or you just really are dedicated to your children, and they're in certain stages of their lives, and it's a lot to juggle all these different areas of our lives. So to have them balanced at all times is unrealistic. So rather than strive for something that is impossible to obtain, you can use the word harmony, because harmony is achievable, and it's achievable in any given moment. And it's what leads to a life feeling balanced. So it's not necessarily balanced, but inside you feel balanced. Externally, it won't look like that, but internally it does, and it feels harmonized. It feels like you're in harmony with yourself. Aligned with yourself is another good word. Is this aligning with who I truly feel I am? Is this true to me? Is this aligning with my values? Is this going to take me out of alignment, or is this really going to resonate with me and make me feel more aligned and purposeful, or really just get me on the path to where I want to be? The last but not least is, instead of saying plan, or I'm going to make plans to do this, or I have plans to do that, instead of having all these plans, because people, I feel, make so many plans, but at the end of the day, they don't achieve the goals they set out because they either have too many plans, or their plans are not specific enough, or their plans are maybe even written down but not regularly visited. So the goal, or the vocabulary word in place of plan, would be routine. So what you do routinely, and I'm sure you've heard this before, it's the habits that make up who you are, what you do, build the momentum and allow you to sustain the life that you want, versus just planning it all the time. And that also is more future based versus routine being, again, in the now. So we want to keep ourselves in the now as much as possible. And that's how we really truly enjoy life. So leave in the comments below any suggestions for words that you've replaced in your life that have impacted you profoundly. I'd really love to hear from you. The community would really love to hear from you. Also, if you have tried out some of these words, I would love to hear from you in your comments below. In order to comment, I believe you need to subscribe. So go ahead and subscribe below. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to the next one and sharing that with you.